Okay, yep, we're here. It's your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore. We're back. Your Houston Texans went to the ATM today, which should have been a victory. Been talking about a victory today. But what happened? Young Ho, 37 yards out, kicked the Texans out of the Mercedes-Benz Dome and came out with a victory of 21-19. Correct? Yeah, 21-19. And be quite candid with you folks. A couple of Texas let the turnover bill 2-0. No sacks on either side today. So the offensive line of the Texans got another 4 quarters to it. But I would have taken a sack today just to get a victory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the offensive line, Laramie Tunsil, and Tunsil and and Tunsil and the rest of them all came back today. And, for the most part, I thought they played like they just starting back again.
Mm-hmm.
They did not. Titus and Laramie on the same side didn't get a lot of push today. And maybe that's what to be expected. But this is your fifth ball game. And the fact that they had not been on the field together, I think says a lot about what we can expect. Regardless of the fact George Green's out, he's done for the season, so Titus had to move over to left guard. But before we get too far deep in that, oh, by the way, that other guy in there with that Texas, is that a Tex? Oh, yeah, it is a Texas shirt. That's not the Red River Shootout shirt, but anyway.
That is a Longhorn.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's go with Ken. Let's go here for my sponsor. Then we get ready to start kicking this thing off. Okay.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
That's right, folks. Ken Ross Agency, 281-235-5952. Tell him AD, Adolphus Moore, say give him a call. Tell him to ask him for the State Farm AD special. I don't even know what the hell it really is, but he'll make you a good deal.
You get a burger and fry combo.
That made me think about that Andy Reid commercial that they do with the State Farm. And I love that commercial.
Me too.
But anyway, let's get back to the Texans today. They dropped 2 turnovers, and the Texans did not. They won the turnover valve. Desmond Ritter, blitzed them for about 300 and some yards today, and for the most part, the Texans kept the Falcons running game in check. I mean, Bijan Robinson, ostensibly, he made a nice behind the back catch on a football, but other than that, the Texans really stayed in this game. This is one of those games, man, that and I know you had mentioned that they was expecting to win. Last week I was somewhat going like, okay, we'll see, because to me, I thought this was sort of a trap game for the Texans.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they had won 2 games, and I'm not too sure. Well, did they get? You know what? I'm glad to win. I want these guys to get in the mindset too of winning. But just because you think it's not showing up, this is the NFL. Every week is a different week, Elwin, and you know it. You've been 30-something years watching this league and watching everything. Your comments, your initial thoughts.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, obviously, the biggest problem we had, and CJ Stroud did a heck of a job throwing passes to try to get most of it taken care of, but the running game was horrific again. Couldn't get a thing going. And, any defense, if they're decent at all, and we know Atlanta does have a good defense, if they know you're not going to be able to run the ball, then that takes away half of your offense. I was really disappointed in that. And like you said, I was really disappointed that the Texans were unable to capitalize on those 2 turnovers. And the other thing, yeah, we played pretty solid defense, but at the critical times, we kept giving up passes, and I thought we were playing too soft on that final drive that led to the winning field goal.
Yeah, I don't disagree on that. I thought that prevent it wasn't a prevent defense.
Looked
They
like
well, yeah, it prevented them from winning. But I thought they had too much success in the seams and on the sideline. They protected. This game was somewhat of a discombobulation of
it
what
was.
the Texans had done all day. They were defensively. They showed spurts.
Mhm.
They created the turnover, and that turnover that Braylon Arnold caused and Jalen Petrie picked up, and I thought he was going to take it to the house.
Me too.
But to me, that should have been a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that not the Schultz touchdown, but two of those field goals, at least one of those field goals, should have been a touchdown.
I totally agree. And D'Amico Ryans cannot be happy with the inability 4 times today to have to settle for field goals when, like you say, I honestly believe any team that has an offense as good as the Texans have, you ought to be 50% in that red zone, always scoring touchdowns.
Well, third down proficiency, and I'm not going to dig into a whole lot of stats.
Oh,
The difference 4-13 for the Texans on third down conversions. The Atlanta Falcons today 7-14, 50%. Big difference.
yep.
Big
Huge.
doggone difference. And let me get this out of my car real quick. Tank Dell, his rushing percentage today, he had 2 carries for a -4 yards.
Yep.
Tank Dell is not Debo Samuel. Ain't no way in hell you gonna make me believe that, even if I'm under the best hallucinogenic drugs in the world. You're not gonna make me believe. And I like what they tried to do, but I prefer to see Tank Dell not taking a handoff behind him, giving him the ball in space.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, now we're going to be without him for at least one game because he had a concussion in this game.
Yeah, so he's in concussion protocol, not from the run.
No,
This is from a pass play.
Yep.
He got head. He came down wrong on the pass play, and I think his head hit the turf.
Yep.
But please, I kept trying to figure out. This is Tank Dell. I've seen Tank Dell. I've been
Yep.
in the dress. I've looked at, and I'm going like, Tank Dell not gonna run over my 4-year-old granddaughter.
No.
And that's not a shot at Tank Dell. He's just small frame.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so unless you had Tunsil and the rest of escorting him around, he's not gonna get through. So please, let's give him the ball in space whenever he gets out of concussion protocol, and let's throw that one away. CJ, That just didn't see no rhyme and reason today, Elwin.
You know, I thought when the game was going on, AD, and I still wonder if this may have been it. I think Bobby's play calling changed with Laramie Tunsil getting back in and getting those guys back. I think he probably knew they were going to be rusty. And honestly, I think he was a little bit conservative and maybe shouldn't have been. He's done a great job this season, but I wasn't real pleased with the play calling sequence pretty much the entire game.
No, I concur. It's Damon Pierce's best run.
Yeah,
was the first one, 13 yards, and it went downhill after that.
It did.
And I'm, offensive line play is about continuity. It's about reps and everything. And my suspicions sort of came true today. Now they kept a clean pocket. That touchdown pass on Schultz, nice clean pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But again, and I know we're gonna beat this horse to death. Run game today. Poor Damon Pierce, he's a hard runner, but Damien's not gonna last too long having to run, not running behind this line.
No, that's for sure. And you could tell it was wearing on him as the game went on. I'm sure you noticed it too. There were a couple of times that if he had cut his eyes and gone to the right, he could have probably made 8 or 9 yards when he got 1 or 2 yards. I think he was so exhausted from having to try to carry the load running game wise that, it just caused him to lose a little bit of focus today too.
Yeah, I mean, we know Damien is a good inside runner. We know he loves to run between the tackles, but you got to give him something to run at.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You have to give him something to run through. And Titus and Laramie today, offensive pass blocking, okay. Run blocking, go ahead.
I just said it was non-existent as far as the run blocking today. Like you said, it almost looked like the first game of the season again when it came to that offensive line.
Well, the New Orleans Saints coming here next week.
Yeah.
And they just dusted the New England Patriots today.
Yeah, big time.
Now, and the NFL, what did Jared Glanville say? The NFL says stand for not for long.
Yep.
So they can enjoy that victory today. And let's face it, this wasn't a Tom Brady New England Patriots. So I'm not sure what you can do, what you can draw or deduce from that. Probably nothing, because every week in the NFL is a new episode all into itself. And so I'm sure D'Amico everybody's going back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the most part, like D'Amico said in this post game, he said for the most part, defensively, they set the edge. Yep. They kept everything reasonably in front of them. But when it was time to make a stop, it was non-existent.
That's very true, AD. And, we've always heard coach after coach after coach, well, really from high school on up, but you hear about it more in the NFL. There is such a small distance between winning and losing. 1 or 2 plays make the difference. And I was just sitting here thinking, as you were talking about D'Amico and his post-game press conference, we were 1 minute and 17 seconds away from having a totally different show than what we're having right now.
Yep. Literally.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about it. I was sort of wondering, did they score too quick?
Yep.
but you have to really sort of trust your defense that they're going to go out there and make a stop when they need to.
Yeah, you
And
do.
eventually, they will go out and make a stop. They have gone out and make a stop. It's obvious today with the 2 turnovers that they created today, but I would have probably loved that turnover on that last drive too.
Absolutely. Well, I was sitting there when they were down by 6, and I literally said out loud to myself, thank God I didn't answer myself back. You know that old thing, it's one thing if you talk to yourself, but if you answer yourself back, you got real problems. I didn't answer myself back, but I said out loud, we're going to go down, score a touchdown, and win this thing 19-18. And I firmly believed that was what was going to happen when we took that 19-18 lead.
For a little bit, I did too. I felt like that they could put up a fence and stop them and keep them there. Now, if he'd have kicked if Mr. Cool had kicked a 51-yard field goal at the end of the game, I'd have stood up, applauded. But a 37-yard field goal,
Yeah,
come on,
that's a gimme.
yeah,
4 yard
and
point.
yeah, and he's considered one of the top field goal kickers in the last couple of years in the league.
Yes.
So anyway, I tell you what, let's take a quick break. Mr. Ross will tell you again about his fine company and what I'm gonna do. There he is. Try to figure out I can get this.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross. Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important.
Apparently, I'm not gonna get this commercial to run. I don't know why not.
Hello, 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 hello. I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over
Wow. Well, it's kind of like the Texans game today.
Yep. What can go wrong did go wrong and has gone wrong.
Yeah, it's been a
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Yeah.
All right, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was about to say before you got to the commercial to finally run, and thank goodness it did, because Mr. Ross has sure been good to us in this podcast. Uh, it's been a tough football for me. Yeah, Gilmer lost, even though it was the first district game, the game to decide the district championship game or championship of our district at home Friday night. And then, of course, my Longhorns blew it. I'm not a Sark fan and never have been, and have told everybody that. I figured he'd find a way to blow that game, and he did. And I was so down from that, I never watched another minute of football after the Longhorns lost at 3 o'clock. And then, of course, the Texans this afternoon. And, you know, I've always said I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. And the Cowboys are playing in San Fran tonight, a team they hadn't been able to beat in the playoffs the last 2 seasons, back-to-back years. So I got a funny feeling this whole weekend I'd have been better off if I hadn't even watched any football.
I noticed you didn't say anything about the Aggies.
No comment. UTSA, I forgot about that. He did have a good game.
Yeah, they won, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the Rice Owls dropped the game last night against UConn. They were up by 2 touchdowns at the end of the first quarter, and they really should have. They slipped away from them. UConn walked in here 0-5.
Yeah.
And walked out of here with a victory. And so, Coach Bloomgren last night was trying to figure out how to explain it, and like the only thing he could reference to was the game they had in Middle Tennessee, and they wound up they hadn't won a game and walked in there and won and pulled the game out. So, and realistically, I thought the Owls was gonna have a nice. I thought they'd be playing maybe their 3rd or 4th string players by the time the 3rd quarter came, but it didn't happen. Anyway, Texas down, folks. 21-19. CJ Stroud still has not been sacked. CJ Stroud still has not thrown an interception. However, I thought he was lucky today on a couple of them.
Oh, absolutely. There was 2 that should have been intercepted, and one of them, the defender got both hands on the ball. But you know that old story, I'd rather be lucky than good any day. And then the other thing about that, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So, you know, the good guy won in regard to not throwing the interception today.
Yeah. And so, but the thing about it, what was unique, and I tweeted it out or put it on X. Hell, I'm not sure if you ought to call it tweet or X now. You go depend on whichever. But that touchdown pass to Schultz, I had a picture of it, NFL video. That pocket was so clean that he stood in and threw that touchdown to Schultz.
He could have eaten lunch back there on that play.
Yeah. We just needed about 4 or 5 more plays like that. That probably should have been wound up going in the field goals. It should have been one of those field goals should have been another touchdown, but it didn't happen.
Nope.
So anyway, you're not heading back to Vegas anytime this week, huh?
No Vegas this week. I do have to go to U.S. Federal District Court a week from tomorrow as a potential juror for a copyright infringement case, hoping I don't get selected. Then not this Wednesday through Saturday, but the following Wednesday through Saturday, we have our annual Sweet Potato Festival in Gilmer known as the Jamboree, which is our big fair, if you will, every year. So a lot going on. And then, of course, that Texans game against the Saints next Sunday. So, but no Vegas for a day or 2 now.
All right. Your final closing comments, man, and I'm gonna shut it down, and we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and put a nice little lace bow on this pig and put some lipstick on it. It's still gonna be a loss.
Yeah, it's still a loss, still disappointment. However, we got to remember we're 5 games in, and even though we lost, we are only 1 game out of first place still because Jacksonville won. And of course, I'll be honest, I got started watching the KC Minnesota game, and I don't know what happened between Tennessee and Indy. I know Indy was up the last time I saw it. However, they won't be at worst more than 1 game out of first place. Won't be any better than 1 game out of first place. The big critical thing is they've got to be ready this week, have a good practice, get the rust off of Laramie Tunsil and whatever else didn't go right for that running game today, get that fixed. They've got to win this game against the Saints to get the momentum headed back in the right direction. If they drop the game against the Saints, then it's going to start getting a little tougher. If they can bounce back and win that game, and I do believe they can, but I jinxed myself going for 3 in a row saying they were going to win today. So I am not going to predict a loss for next Sunday, but I'm not going to project a win either. But I know it is a game that the Texans can win if they get this offense fixed and find a way late in the game to get the defense not playing so soft.
Concur. Anyway, hey, have a good one. Catch you down here next week.
You bet.
And we'll chop it up.
All right. Have a good week, AD. Enjoyed it.
All right, take care. Yep, that's right, folks. And as again, your Texans went to the ATL, should have walked out with a victory, but instead they 37-yard field goal with 2 seconds left in the game, and they went down 21-19. I thought they had enough on the defensive side to maybe 19-18, but the Falcons went down the field too easy. And with that, we have to call it to the end. The Texans go down. And next week, the New Orleans Saints come to town. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not going to be easy. The Saints being in town is almost going to be akin to the Pittsburgh Steelers where they were here last week. And I wasn't sure if this was a Steelers crowd or a Texans crowd because there was enough terrible towel. And, with the many people between that, the home is New Orleans and everything else. I hope they leave the Mercedes Dome atmosphere there and this is the NRG. But knowing how there's a lot of Saints fans, I anticipate we're going to see a lot of Saints paraphernalia. But anyway, your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, we'll be looking forward to just chopping it up next week. And the Texans take on the New Orleans Saints again, the final from the ATL. Texans go down to the Atlanta Falcons 21-19. This is your man. I'm out. Ciao. And we done. This pig is cooked.